Nothing hurts. How's this?
Better.
Better? Good. Very good. Alright, so we are going to start. Let me make sure. We're going to start with blocks. For those of you who are coming a while back, this will be familiar. I think that's only going to be Mary and Judith. Not in the top middle. Front of your mat. You're going to face me. It's a little bit different. So maybe we can move those props a little up that way. Or you're good, Mary.
Yeah, I'm good. It's all right. I'm good.
No,
I'm good.
You're fine. We're very personal here. All right, everybody's good?
That's all right.
Okay, so you're going to start with your feet pretty wide, hands on your blocks. And then we're going to start with footwork. Okay, so you're going to keep your blocks right under the shoulders. Remember how to hold your block, right? All three thumb knuckles lined up on the inside line of your block. Fingers extended out to the side, so you've got all the metacarpals on your block, the meaty part of the hand, the muscular part of the hand on the block. Keep your hands active for right now. I want you to be active up to your chest, right? So this line of musculature, this network stays engaged. Shift your body forward over your hands. So your hips are going to be a little in front of your feet. Wider blocks. Yep. Wider blocks. Yep. Okay. The block's at least shoulder width, all right? The tighter your shoulders, the wider your blocks to a degree. Inner spiral. You have them as wide as your feet. All right. Inner spiral the arms. So usually we outer spiral. Inner spiral, if you're capable of hyperextending, I can kind of do the left. Keep a little bend. Keeping that inner spiral. Now I want you to slide your shoulder blades up the sides of the ribs. So shoulders come forward, whole body doesn't. The shoulders come forward. Drop your head down, push into the thumb side of your hand, pick your ribs up in your shoulder girdle, and then drop back down. Shoulder blades up. Slide together. Do it again. Pick the ribs up. Drop back down. Let's add some breath. Pick the ribs up. Keep head dropping. Inhale. Stay up there. Exhale. Close your front ribs. Keep exhaling. Keep exhaling. Keep exhaling. Keep exhaling. Spread the shoulder blades, stretching upper back. Drop your head deeper. Put a soft bend in your knees. Low belly sucks up. Tailbone drops down toward the mat. Open the knees. Good. And then take sitting bones back and apart. Drop your belly down. Drop chest down in the shoulder girdle. Keep the head dropped. Spread your shoulder blades up. Inhale. Same sequence. Exhale. Close your front ribs. Lift your low belly. Bend the knees. Open them. Stay empty. Stay empty. Keep the core. Drop pubic bone back. Belly drops. Ribs drop into the shoulder girdle. Spread the shoulder blades up. Now you get to inhale. So all that movement through core, you're empty. Exhale, closing your ribs. Keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling. Suck low belly up, bend the knees. Knees open, pubic bone back. Ribs drop back down. And then spread the ribs apart. Inhale, ribs up. Last one, exhale. Keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling. Close front ribs, suck low belly up. Bend the knees a little deeper, then open them. Then drop pubic bone back, lengthen core, drop ribs. And then spread shoulder blades. Inhale again. Good. How are we on the breath control? You guys staying empty that long? Okay. Shift body weight forward. Drop ribs back down. Just move through shoulder girdle now for 3. I want you to move your shoulder blades forward. So shoulders come up toward ears. And then just bring them back. Bring shoulders forward. And then straight back. 2 more. Bring shoulders forward. And then straight back. Last one. Bring your shoulders forward. A little inner spiral more. Put a soft bend in your elbows. Out to the sides. Yeah, like a little bulldog. You're in your chest. Push into the thumb side of the hand to spread your ribs even more. Good. And then outer spiral, arms, elbows, hug in. Bend your elbows. Start dropping your chest towards your blocks. A lot of work in the hands. Spread your fingers out. Push to the hands to bring it back up. Good. Walk your blocks out in front. Here's the part where you should be working outer foot more directly. You should be feeling outer foot, lower legs already. Lift the outer foot up. So you're really in your inner feet. Bend the knees deeper. Let that release. Glutes release, hips release. Good. Try to drop your head, neck, chest down through the arms. Head coming toward your mat. If that's too much for you, you can bring your elbows to the mat. Then you'll miss out on the shoulder stretch though. Breathe while you're here. Keeping outer foot lifted, inner foot grabbing the mat. Open knees again. And then bring it back up. Bring your blocks back. Good. Feel shoulder stretch, chest stretch there. Okay. Now keep your hands, your shoulders over your hands, weight in the hands. Try to think of rolling your left hip forward, keeping the legs straight. Let the body lean forward a little bit. And then bring it back. Roll your right hip forward. Good. Lift your ribs up in the shoulder girdle. Drop them back down. Bring it back to center. So this is hard to do with legs staying straight. You could soft bend, but try not to bend much. Left hip forward. Lift your outer foot of the left foot and reach the heel past the toes. Bring it back in. Rotate it back. Roll your right hip forward. Lift outer foot. Reach the heel away from the toes. Feel low belly go across. Let your left shoulder come forward so your left ribs can open a little. Or your right ribs, right ribs open. And come back to the middle. Good. Okay. Bend both knees. Sitting bones go back. So your hips are now behind your heels. Then walk your blocks forward so you get long in the side ribs. Side body long, ribs opening. Good. Little pressure down in the hands. Push into the heels. Heels hug in, toes hug in. Suck your low belly up around. Drop your head under. You've got to lift from low belly now. Hands are too far out in front and all your weight's in your feet. You can't do it with the upper body. Good. And then you're going to release. Pubic bone back. Drop your chest a little deeper. Bend the knees a little deeper. Feel the hip stretch there. Keep your feet in parallel. No turning toes out. Roll to inner foot. Lift all your toes. Good. Now bring the toes down. Grab the mat. Good. Bring your blocks or your hands over to the left. Hands are going to be on a parallel line inside the big toe. Okay, you can try it with hands if you know you're a little more flexible. Okay, keep the inside hand nearest the foot there. Bend the opposite knee. So you're going to bend the right knee, kind of pressing with your left hand. Bring your left shoulder blade down to make your ribs pregnant on the right side and reach the other hand further forward and across. You're really opening up the ribs on that right side. Good. Feel that stretch? Left elbow hugging in and under you. Good. Bring it back up. Walk the hands to the other side. Try it without blocks, if you haven't. Hands are going to line up like you're on one line with the inside of the foot. Then bend the opposite knee away. Keep the other leg straight. Knife's edge of the foot, outer foot. Active, but don't lift it off the mat. Keep it there. Pushing the mat away with that whole foot. Then you're going to walk the outside hand away. The inside hand can even drop back a little. That elbow hugs in, and you're trying to bring your ribs forward, pregnant to the left. Drop your head down. Bend the left knee more. Breathe. A little circular action going within your own body. That right hand is pushing. Left hand is reaching. Left knee bending. Right leg reaching. And bring it back up. You're feeling outer ankles, outer lower legs, hips, and sides. Good. Bring your blocks back. Okay. Let's go ahead and try horse stance. Bring the heels in. The further in the heels come, the harder your balance is going to be. And the more open your hips have to be. Don't go crazy here. If you bring your heels in past where your knees can open, all you're going to do is torque your knee instead of stretch your hip, and there will be no chance of you getting your tailbone down. Lift your belly. Lift your ribs, lift your belly. Okay. Now, keep your heels in to where you think you can get your knees open past the feet. So you come to your outer foot. Let's do just the left knee. Open your left knee more. Back. You can use your hand to help push it back if you need to. Feel what it feels like to drop that knee behind the foot. Let your foot lift. Inner foot lift a little bit. That lets you open the front of the hip more. Okay, keeping the knee back, roll the inner foot back down, spread your toes. Good. Feel your foot activate. Switch. Take your other hand back. Push that knee back. Try to keep fingers facing down and shoulder forward as you push the knee back so pelvic bowl drops back. That shoulder dropping forward opens ribs a little bit on your side. Okay, so the more you drop that shoulder forward, good. The more you drop that knee back, you're actually opening up that side. Let the inner foot lift. Good. You guys feeling that in the hip? Okay. Now, foot strong. Foot grabs the mat. Spread those toes. The foot comes back down, but the knee stays back. That's the action you need. The hand is helping you right now. Now you're going to have to do it just from those muscles. Here we go. Come back to the middle. Roll to the back of the foot. Lift your inner feet. Lift your toes. Good. Lift your low belly a little bit. Okay. Now bring your feet back down, but keep those knees open. Low belly is still lifted, so my tailbone's aimed at the mat, and I am not squeezing my glutes. Okay, balancing, slowly bring it up. Your balance is here, transverse abdominals. Good. Horse stance, no butts back. Low belly lifts. Good. Okay, if you can't lift your low belly, you may need to bring your feet in a little or your toes forward a little. So if you're having trouble getting tailbone under, you're a little ambitious with your turnout. Okay, this turnout has to come from your hips. Lift your middle abs, low belly. Okay, let's everybody bring your feet into parallel for a minute. Good. Knees drop in, close the front of your hips. Now suck low belly up. Okay, we can all drop tailbones, so we're all more open in our hips than this, right? So this would be the extreme. Okay, open your knees, stay in your inner foot. So lift the outside of the foot, but open your knees. If you can't do that, you're trying to move your foot all the way from up here. It's incredibly inefficient, right? You don't need to choke off this whole line of muscles and move your foot, but as its own muscle. So to activate your feet, lift your toes up. Good. Now shift your body weight into the metatarsals and out of your heels. Now bring your toes back down. Grab the mat with your foot. Now roll to inner foot with pinky only. Knees should not collapse in. Open knees back out. Now, what's the problem? Lift your low belly. Release your glutes. Sitting bones are apart. Keep that low belly lifted. Let's bring the shoulders forward. Elbows wide to help spread your lats. Spread your shoulder blades and open across ribs. Don't do that super hard or you're going to end up with hips forward. Yeah. Suck low belly back. Okay, now keep the low belly lifted, roll shoulders back, but tailbone doesn't go back. So we're trying to separate those. Roll shoulders forward. Now roll shoulders back, low belly lifted. Good, keep the lift. Soften your upper body. Let yourself slouch in this stance. Now, lift your heels softly, bring them in. You can do them one at a time if you need to. Toes still grabbing the mat, keep this lift. Starting to feel where we're going? That's it, yeah. Feel that? That was a little bit of shirt there. Yeah, you pulled away from your shirt. Good stuff. Good. Good. Everybody looks good. Knees should be wider than toes. That's ambitious. Bring your toes back in. Now try to open the knees more. Now suck the belly back. The more you open the knees, the more the tailbone wants to drop back, right? Oh, we're pulling those two apart. You feeling this right now? Get rid of your glute squeeze. Let your butt go. There you go. You cannot use glutes to push this forward. That just hurts everything. All right, hands come back down. How we doing? Straighten your left leg.
Me too.
Turn the heels back out again. Roll to the inside of your left foot. Really pick up the outer foot. I don't care if a little bit of it comes from your hip. Bring it back down, toes spreading. Roll to the inside of the other foot. Lift and spread your toes out. Find your foot, it lives. Good, now push your hands to support ribs up. Keep the foot lifted. Keep that foot lifted. Lift your ribs up into shoulder girdle. Drop the head, suck the low belly up. Tailbone ends up dropping down if pelvic bowl comes up, right?
Yeah.
So don't use glutes to drop it. Bring your foot back down. Other side. Keep lifting low belly like you're sucking up to the ceiling. Bring it back down. Now lift them both. Suck up to the ceiling with low belly. Then start bending knees wide, keeping outer foot lifted. Oh. It's hard, right?
Yes.
Now let your hips drop back. Let your hips drop all the way back. Ribs drop down. Good job. You're starting to feel some space in the hips. Okay, keep outer foot lifted, low belly sucks up, ribs round up, drop your head down. Move your weight over your hands, put all the pressure there. Bring the toes back down, grab the mat. Let's try what we tried earlier, flatten the back out again, drop chest into shoulder girdle. Good, push into hands, spread shoulder blades, bring it up, suck low belly up. Now bring your left hip forward more. Yeah, and then bring it back. Bring your other hip, right hip forward more. Good. Start to roll through the hips a little more. Bring it back. Left hip forward more. Bring it back. Now, whose feet died? Let's use your feet. Bring that right hip forward. Lift your outer foot. Okay, keep the toes spreading. Bring the toes back down. Grab the mat. Lift the hip forward. Switch. Other hip forward. Lift your outer foot. Bring the toes down. Spread them across. Keep the hip forward, but roll to outer foot. Feel how those two pull apart? Bring your hips back to the middle. Bend the knees. Good. Let's see if you can get rid of blocks. And hand it to the mat. If that's not going to happen with a flat back, then use blocks on either first or second level. Okay, so flat back and should get anything from the side. But I want you to be able to flatten ribs, come down, maybe even a little upper back bend hanging down. So if that's not going to happen with your hands flat, then either your hips aren't able to drop enough, right, or your chest can't. So you may need blocks, which brings you up higher. Okay, from here, pretty much flat back. Shoulder blades come together, ribs dropping. You should feel a lot in the hips. Okay, and then bring it back up. Push through hands to bring ribs up. Drop head down, suck your middle abs up. Low belly lifting, roll to inner feet, but don't close knees. There we go. Now stay rolled to inner feet, open knees. Spread the toes, bring them back down. Drop chest into shoulder girdle, drop the belly. Good. You should feel the hips opening more. One more time. Roll it up. Bring ribs up into the shoulder girdle. Suck the low belly up. Shift your weight forward and your hands more. Let your hips release a little bit. See if you can lift low belly higher. Good. And then drop the chest back down, ribs back down. Good. Let's bring your right toes out to the side. And line it up so that your heel is even with the inner arch of the back foot. Bring your blocks to frame that foot. Okay. Let's do a triangle here. Have your blocks right on either side of the foot. We'll start with the back hand on the back block behind the foot. Good. All right. And bring the other arm straight back with your body. Good. And most people want to stay really tucked here. Pelvic bowl up, side crunched. Let's try to eliminate that by bending the front knee just a little. And then let your ribs come forward, drop into the bottom shoulder girdle a little bit. Good. Pick your ribs back up out of the bottom shoulder girdle. Re-straighten the leg. Good. Now see if you can start lengthening your ribs without having to bend the knee so much. Good. Push into the bottom hand. Pick ribs up out of the shoulder girdle. Suck the belly up. Bend the knee. Good. Now instead of taking ribs forward, think of taking your hip back. Good. Starting to feel that a little bit. One more time. Suck your ribs up. Push into the hand. Good. Try to straighten the leg more. That'll be easier because this is killing the stretch somewhat. Okay. Now drop this back, keeping the leg as straight as you can. When it needs to bend, let it bend. Good. Bring your other hand to your block. Okay. Don't torque your knee. If you have to bend it a little, go ahead. Try to roll your left hip or your back hip back and the front hip a little forward. Just a little. Good. And then open your hips back up to face forward. Do it again. This bottom hip has to be able to get out of the way. So think of outer spiraling the bottom leg, inner spiraling the back leg. Maybe you have to turn heel back just a touch. And then roll it back open again. So we roll through the hips all the time here, right? That's a lot easier. But you need this movement to do your warrior two and your triangle pose the right way. One more time, try to roll this hip forward, low belly back. Good, now spin onto your toes. Good, that's it. Got a lot easier to roll that hip forward, didn't it? Spin the heel back down, opening the hip. Do that again. Don't make a lot of adjustments in the foot. This is your transition. Toes pick up, grab the mat with the ball of the foot, roll the hip forward. Good. Roll the hip back open, spin on toes. Good. Put your heel down. Toes grab the mat, roll the hip forward. That's rolling through your hip. Roll it back open. Heel comes down. You may have to bring your toes back forward again each time. Come onto toes, roll the hip forward. Pulling the back hip back more. Roll it back open. Heel in, bring toes forward. Two more like that. Roll the hip forward. Nice. Roll it back open, heel all the way in. So you're outer spiraling the leg, then heel grabs the mat, bring your toes back in. Okay, let's try that again. Roll onto toes, hip comes all the way forward. Think of it passing the plane of the other hip. Okay, roll it open, heel comes way in first, then put it down, then toes come forward. Starting to use that back foot more. Last one, lift your toes first, then roll onto the ball of the foot. Hip comes forward. There we go. That's rolling through the hips. You guys feel that? Okay. Push into the front foot. Roll the back heel in as far as you can get it. That's your outer spiral. Heel comes down, grabs the mat, toes come forward. Good. Okay, last one. Lift your toes. Roll on the ball of the foot, hip forward. Stay there. Walk your blocks forward a little bit further. Bend the front knee. Drop the back hip down. Good. You guys start to go rolling through the hips more than before. Good stuff. Keep dropping that back hip. Slowly lower the back knee and that. Come to the top of the back foot. Okay. How are we doing? Okay. We're down. Activate your bodies. We're down. Down to the count. Left hand comes to thigh. Bring your right arm across. Now what has to happen here when you're going to bring that right arm across? Your left leg has to come across a little bit toward your center line, which means your pelvic bowl has to come back a little bit. You can't tighten in here.
We're opposite.
We're all opposite because we're going to turn the other way next. Yeah. So I'm sorry, your right hip. Your right knee is going to come across.
Right knee.
So the forward knee, let's do forward and back.
Okay.
The knee that's in front has to come across your center line. So your pelvic bowl can't be completely hell bent on staying forward. All right, so you're going to lift your low belly a little bit. Think of the front leg and back leg pulling toward each other. Okay, so as much as you push with the front, which is all quad in front of hip, which we want to stretch, pull with the back leg. Yeah, you feel that? Okay, now use your other hand to push that front leg across, and then elbow to knee. I'll be twisting away from you, you'll be twisting away from me. So you're gonna bring your left elbow to your right knee. Once you get the elbow there, release the pull from the back leg and drop back forward into your stretch. Guys, feel that? You want to let the back hip drop forward. You're really standing in the front foot. Then you're going to push your back hand into your front hand to help lift your ribs back and twist a little deeper. Elbow against knee, but keep dropping the back hip forward. Everybody looks good. Your front foot is your balance and so is your core. Breathe. If you want to go further, you can tuck back toes, reach through the back leg. If you want to go even further, you can come all the way down to your full posture, your bind, whatever your practice is. Wherever you're at, breathe. Always breathing. On your exhale, push into the elbow, suck the low belly back. Good, now let's pull the back hip forward. And then come back into it. Yeah, that should cause that to happen. That's messing with your balance center. All right, come back into it. Good job, guys. How we doing? Bring the hips back. Let that front heel come up, or let front toes come up, flex the heel. So you bring the hands down. If that puts a lot into your knee, then you don't have to come back like that. You can stay forward, or you can come all the way back and sit on your foot to stretch back. All right, wherever you're at, see if you can deepen it by coming down over that leg. Breathe. Either hands to the floor, whatever you can reach.
With the leg straight?
As straight as you can keep it. You can keep it a little bent so your sitting bones can go back further. If your knee was bothering you, weight bearing. Yeah. Is it okay there?
Yeah.
Because yours is a pressure issue, not a stretch
Yeah.
issue. Yeah. All right, everybody come back forward. Drop your hips back into your stretch. Tuck the back toes again. Reach through that back leg. Heel toe the front foot out to the side. Let's see if we can move blocks and bring hands to the floor. Good. Your foot, your heel, your knee should be right over your heel. So either shift forward or put the back knee down and walk your foot forward to come forward. Knee right over heel. Drop hips deeper. Inner spiral arms, bend elbows out to the side a little bit. And see if you can come down a little bit deeper, staying in your chest. Then re-straighten arms. Pick your ribs up higher. Push through the front leg to bring your hips back. Good. Do it again. Stay high on your back toes. Inner spiral your arms. Bend the front knee. Bring the back hip forward. Back leg is strong. Think of your back hip coming to the mat. Try to drop deeper. Let your hips drop below the level of the thigh. Bend your elbows out to the sides. Good. Now hug elbows back in. Elbows hugging on your ribs and see if you can drop your chest lower like chaturanga with shoulders back. Good. Push into the hands. Push into the foot. Bring your hips back. Hey, you made it. Turn your back heel down. That should help open your hip, just like we started. Bring your blocks back. Heel toe the back foot, or the front foot, excuse me, a little bit in so that you have that same alignment we started with. Front heel cuts through back arch. Okay? You're going to keep your hand on the block that's in the back, and then your front arm opens up so you're facing me. Good job. Here's your triangle. We've warmed up hips a little more. Bottom sitting bone, back. How do you do that? Let's lift shoulder blade up into the shoulder girdle. Now think of low belly sucking forward a little. Bring your chest back down into bottom shoulder girdle so the hip drops more. You can also roll the back hip forward a touch. Good. Okay. Then see if you can keep that length there. Roll the back hip open again. Good. Bring your arm overhead. Bend your knee forward. Drop the back hip down. Try to be one straight line on the top of the body. Good. Bring the arm in line with the leg. Roll the shoulder forward. Come onto your toes. See if you can push through that front leg, leaning forward. Can you bring both arms back? Good job. Back foot's really working to support weight. Hands come down, knee comes down. All we done? Good. Everybody's alive? All right, let's take a breather here. Roll over the toes. Inhale, arms up. Pull with your back leg. Exhale, hands in prayer. Sit down into your stretch. No hands now. You're pulling back with front foot, dropping into that front leg stretch. Knees have to be longer. Foot forward more. Knee further back. Not for everybody, but do it more, much more. Use your block to skip to a longer stance. Push into the front foot, bring it back. You'll feel pressure in the back knee when body comes back. Inhale up. As you exhale, lead with hips. Right hip forward. Bend the left knee. Sit down into that. Keep arms reaching up. And then bring the arms down to blocks. Good. Starting to find control within the hips and core. Push through back foot. Push with front foot. Roll the hip open, heel down, toes now point to the front of the room. Bring blocks back to the middle. Keep your other foot turned out. Good. Now bring your blocks forward and bring the front foot block even further forward. Bring the other block back. Just lengthening that side. Feel how your hip is dropping away from your ribs. Good. How are we doing? Roll to the inside of the foot. If you feel a lot in the knee, you can put a soft bend in the knee, although there is a stretch there. Good. Keep the foot active. And bring the block back. Good. Turn the other heel in, toes out. Okay, notice when you move your foot, do you prefer to come to the heel and lift the toes? Not my favorite thing. Or do you prefer to lift your heel and keep the toes on the ground? This is better. This means your foot is using the muscles in the foot to control. When you come to your heel more, you're usually more in glutes and sitting bones more, and in the front of the hip short. Okay?
That makes sense.
So if you prefer to lift your toes and rock around on your heel, which is not a good place to live, we want to adjust that and just generally in your life move your weight to the front of the foot where you actually have the ability to adjust, shift, balance, move the feet. All right, so keep heels in, toes out, back to horse. Bring your blocks back. Knees have to be able to open as far as your feet are open, okay, because that's opening from hips. If your knees are in and your feet are open, that's torquing knee. So the turnout is dictated by the open in your hips. Your toes do need to face a little out.
Yeah.
All right, keeping the knees open, lift your low belly. What helps you lift your low belly? If you support it, a little spreading in the shoulder blades. Now, if you suck your front ribs up as hard as you possibly can, and you're here, the hips shove forward to counter that. So let this open. You're going to spread shoulder blades and put downward pressure to hold ribs up and take some pressure out of the hips. But then, let your core go. Let your belly hang out. Good. Now, inhale. Just lift low belly. Feel your feet, toes especially, grab the mat to help you turn low belly up, tailbone under. Good. And then let knees bend. Your hips are more released and they can drop. Let's feel that a little bit. Good. All right. Let's go to your second. Actually, let's try to balance here. Bring it back to your fingers. Roll it up. You should be more here, which is where your balance lives. Good. Everybody's not falling. You got to get this back. So bring your feet in a little bit. That's it. Okay. Breathe. Got to get this back. If you feel like you're leaning shoulders forward and butt back, you are in exactly the opposite of the position that I want you to be in. You should be rounding your shoulders a little forward, rounded though, and the middle sucking back. So think of the middle low back being the furthest backward point. Good.
Glutes can't come.
Glutes can't squeeze to push. Muscles don't push, they pull. Low belly pulls up to bring pubic bone, tailbone forward. Nice. Good job. All right, bring it back. Yeah, very nice, guys. Turn both toes in. Bring your blocks way out in front of you. Long, long reach. Let your head drop, neck drop. Try to let your head drop through the arms to get your shoulder stretched. You can add a knee bend. Your feet should feel like they're pulling you back. Maybe even tip your blocks to the back corner. We do this baby down dog all the time where we tip blocks back and then bend the knees, but keep your knees open. Start to feel space in front of the hips. Breathe. As you exhale, reach the blocks forward, but your hips still back. Lift your middle abs a little. Those transverse abs between the ribcage and pelvis, and then let it go. Drop back down. One more time. Inhale. As you exhale, reach your blocks forward. Shoulder blades sliding forward. Middle abs suck up. Lift the middle back from the middle abs, and let everything go. So re-straighten the legs. Good. Walk your blocks back. Okay. Let's turn the other foot out. Left foot turns out. And when your left foot turns out, the hip should turn out too. So maybe your back hip has to roll forward a little. Okay, wider stance, longer stance. Good. All right. Keep your heel, front heel, in line with the back arch. Heel to arch alignment. Let's roll to the inner arch of the back foot. Lifting toes. Think of the quad as lifting up into low belly. Suck your low belly up. Good. Now bring the toes down, grab the mat. Roll to outer foot, feel the front of the hip release more. Yeah, good. Feel that release. That space in front of the hip. Yeah. Now don't use that. Keep that space. Lift low belly without closing front of the hip. Now when you roll the inner foot, make it happen from foot instead of closing up. No. Come back, Jeannie. Roll to outer foot. Roll to outer foot. Feel the space, but now you're just sitting in the tendons in the outer foot. Okay, so we got to activate the foot again, right? So lift low belly a little without tightening the front of the hip. Lift toes without using the hip. To roll to the foot, make it happen from the outer ankle. Roll in. So if you kill the space in the front of the hip, you're trying to move your foot from your hip. Can't stretch your hip, can't use your foot anymore for leverage. All right, let your toes come down, grab the mat, and feel like you're even on the foot, right? Your whole foot is holding the mat. So now you can pull away from that point. If your foot's inactive, you can't pull away from it, right? There's no opposition. Okay, bring your blocks over to frame that front foot.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Isn't it?
Feel better?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, we're gonna
That's
say
because we're on our right side. It's more coordinated, right?
most of you are right hand dominant, yeah, so you're gonna be able to do it better here, right? Which is what's really active, the brain.
Except for me.
Except for you,
Yeah.
you're
You're
left
left-handed.
dominant.
Yeah, because that's the.
Yeah. Okay, all right, let's roll your back hip forward. And if you can straighten the front leg, that's fine. If you have a hamstring issue, just keep it bent. Remember, hamstrings attached down here and then up at the base of the tail, at the base of the buttocks. So you just bend the knee, that should eliminate your hamstrings, and your hips should still be mobile, right? It makes it harder to coordinate because the knee is bent, and now you have to control the hamstring and quad. But all right, so you can also shorten your stance a little bit if you're tightening your hamstring. Okay, so we're gonna try rolling through the hip. Think of your front leg outer spiraling. So I don't care if you roll to the outer foot right now and sickle it a little bit. Not good for your ankle. We're not going to do it all the time. This is what a sickled foot looks like. Okay, you just rolled out. Totally sitting in the tendons and the ankle, not great. But it's making a lot of space in the front of that hip so it can get out of the way. Okay, now drop your back hip forward. Good. Now re-engage this foot, front foot again. Grab the mat. Good. Now roll it back open again.
Oh, yay.
Feel that? Okay, now think of outer spiraling front leg. Try not to lose the grip of the mat with the foot. Pinky toes really grabbing. We feel that? Roll it back open. Gotta use feet for standing postures. It seems like a stupid, obvious thing to say, but people don't realize they're not using them. Pull back with your right low, or with your left, your front foot low belly. Then pull back with the other low belly, but then you have to push with the foot you're coming away from. Not push hard, but enough to lift out of that hip. You gotta come around that hip, then drop it back forward. Good, now let's add the foot. It gets a lot easier. Spin onto the toes. Good, shorten, everybody shorten your stance a little. I guess I just jumped it back, but it's kind of easier to pull your front foot back, shorten your stance a little. Anyway, all right, so let's try to roll through the hip now with using the foot, so you really feel like rolling more. Spin your heel down as you open up. Bring your heel in before you put it down. Then put it down. All the way in. Yeah. Good. Lift onto toes. Work that foot. Roll through the foot. Drop the hip all the way forward. Maybe you can go further. Good. Bring it back open. Bring your heel all the way in. Feel your foot hold onto the mat. Bring the heel down. Now bring your toes back forward in front of the heel a little bit. Good. Lift your toes first. Come onto ball of the foot to roll that back hip really forward. There we go. Everybody's rolling a little deeper. Okay. Push into the toes. Grab the mat with your toes. Roll the heel in past where you started from. I'm going to end up pretty much on my index toe. Then bring the heel down. Good. You guys feeling that? Okay. Lift toes first. That activates your foot. Grab the mat with the foot. Roll the back hip really forward. Front hip pulls back. Good. Last one. Start coming back. Toes grab the mat. You got to put some pressure in the big toe. Bring the heel all the way in first. Then let the toes come down. Good job. Let's bring the foot to parallel and bend the front knee.
So when you do the foot parallel, you want us to go like this?
Yeah. Every time you change the foot,
You don't want us to use our
I don't
heel.
want you rocking around on your heel,
Okay.
giving yourself bone spurs and rolling around on a bone. I want you in the metatarsus where there are actually some muscles in your foot and some ability to adjust, balance, and move, right? That is your foot working. That is your foot stabilizing you. There's no stability in your heel. Think about standing posture where you're in your heel. If I'm in both heels, I either have to counter by leaning forward, because I'm standing on something wrong. As soon as I lean back past my heels, I'm falling. If I'm in my toes and I'm forward, now I can lift my low belly back. I can use this as leverage to pull away from. If I'm in my heels, I can close my glutes and shove my hips forward, but that's about it. And that's going to crush your low back. So you're pretty much always going to want to live in your balance center in the feet, which corresponds to the balance center in the core, right? Okay, here we go. You guys are doing what? So we haven't done a lot of standing postures, but guess what we're getting ready to do? Okay, so keep that back hip rolled forward. Let's go ahead and come onto the toes again. Make sure your feet are not on a tightrope. So when you look down, if your feet were together on the same plane, they'd be about hip width apart. okay? And then bend the front knee. Keep your back leg strong, like you're sending energy, grabbing the mat with the toes as you drop the hip down. Then you should start to be able to pull your low belly out of the front of that hip more. Keep it straighter, keep it stronger. Don't lock quads. So some of you that does not apply to. There you go. Pushing the front foot softly, not for the purpose of flexing your quad, but just for the purpose of bringing your hip back. So bring your hip back out of the way. Good. Then bring it back forward again. Straight back leg getting long, like your front foot's pulling back. Then see if you can drop your hip below the level of the front knee. Good. Feel how the foot, if it stays strong back there, helps you open the front of the hip. Okay, push through the front foot just to bring hips back. Both hips come back evenly. As you come forward, now think about dropping chest into shoulder girdle a little. Shoulders slide back so your ribs get pulled softly forward out of the hip. Then bend the front knee, push through the back toes a little, just to let you lengthen that back leg side. Yes, you feel that? Now drop your hips all the way down below and put the back knee down. Feel how hard that foot works as your knees coming down? It works, right? Then roll over the toes. So if your feet aren't working in your standing postures, what you're probably doing is sucking everything in and holding a lot in your hips. You get no expansion, no opposition, no space. And you also feel really stressed out. Like, how long do we have to be here, right? If you get to sit a little bit into your stretch, you can chill here. You can be here. You can think, now I can access things. My brain is free. I'm not freaking out. All right, let's keep it on the feet instead of hands for a minute. Pull back. No, scratch that. Pull forward with the back knee from your low belly. So get a little lift. Good. Don't go back so far that you're just sitting on top of that knee, pushing it. Just get a little front and back pulling together, but try to pull more with back than front. Okay? Then the front hand comes to the thigh, not the knee. Push it across your body while you've got some space. So get it across your center line now. So you guys are all pushing that knee to knee. Then bring your elbow to the knee, the back elbow. Then once you got elbow to knee, hands in prayer. One straight line from elbow to elbow. Now rest forward into your front foot. Let the back hip go. No more pulling, just for now. Feel that back side dropping forward. Bring the front shoulder up towards your ear a little bit, just to slide that shoulder blade forward, opening that side more. Feel all your weight in your front foot. Good. Now push the back hand into the front hand prayer and try to spin ribs up and back a little, keeping the back hip forward, separating the two. Oh, we can. Let's tuck back toes if you want to try to go for the balance and reach through the back leg. So you're keeping ribs forward and reaching back. They come apart. That front knee helps keep you forward. The front knee can pull the elbow a little wide when you do that. So when you stand, it's a pull apart back there. Good. One more breath here. Find your breath. Okay. Barely. Bring your hands back. How are we doing? Good. All right, so let's do it with hands. We've got some extra balance. Tuck the back toes. Hips drop forward into your stretch as far as you can. Now, when you push into elbows in, when you push into your back foot, I want you to think of the toes pulling the heel back to open the hip more. Yes. You guys feeling that?
Yeah.
A lot of it's in the brain. Push through the front foot. How we doing? Spin the back toes down. Okay. Do some triangle side angle. Let's leave the back hand on the block. Open your chest. So now all 4 points are open forward. Right? Just rest your hand on your side now. Good. Okay? Play with hips. Soften everybody, soften shoulders. This arm is resting. Let it rest. There we go. Okay. Roll the hip and shoulder forward. Yeah. Feel how that front hip's got to get out of the way. It's got to pull back. Good. That means your front foot's got to take weight and be active. Now shift into the inside of the front foot to access low belly, and then roll it back open. We feel on these feet here, they're very integral. Now roll to the inner arch of your back foot. Now roll to the outer arch of your front foot, pinky side of the front foot, and then roll into it.
Oh, yummy.
Oh.
Together. A lot of room there now, right? Yeah. Switch that. Roll to inner front foot, roll to outer back foot. Open it up. So what did I do? I used the fact that you all want to move your feet from your hips to help you find space in your hips.
Thank you.
Let's try this again.
Thank you, teacher.
Roll to the outer front foot, roll to the inner back foot, and start coming forward. Good. Roll to the inner front foot, roll to the outer back foot, and start opening up. Are we getting this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, roll to the outer front foot, roll to the inner back foot, roll forward. guys. Spread it across. Last one, roll to inner front foot, but now grab the mat. Still be aware of outer front foot. Roll to outer back foot, but still keep inner foot. Roll it open. Starting to feel how that spreads the whole hip. Yay! Bend the front knee. Arm overhead. Good. Try to make one straight line, doing from the arm to the foot. And then actually feel a line of energy run along the inside of the body. Okay, now push your hip forward, way out of alignment. Okay, and you can pull the bottom hip back, and there's actually a nice little stretch there. Okay, let's bring it back into alignment so we're not cutting off the line anymore. Now, suck the belly back. Good. Now find a happy medium. Okay, let weight come into this foot. Stop pushing the floor away, sit into it. Let the hip open a little bit. Good, you guys start to feel that? Now that there's not so much weight in the top hip, because we're not trying to fly, we're standing in the bottom, see if you can lengthen a little more on that side. And then roll to the outer foot. Good, how are we doing?
Good.
And bring it back. Starting to feel the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, straight front leg, straight front arm. Come straight up with a triangle. Pick the bottom ribs up. So all your serratus, your intercostals, just squish your ribs into one piece, which brings the pelvic bowl up. It doesn't really feel very good. Okay, now let it back up. Yeah, it deepens your stretch, but it makes space on this side. And we are trying to stretch. Let's do it again. Use that side in a yucky way. I don't like this. Roll to the inner back foot. Okay, roll to the outer back foot. Roll to the inner front foot. Release the side. Let your ribs drop into shoulder girdle more. Good, how are we doing?
Yay.
And bring it back down. Very good, guys. Roll to the arch, or to the ball of the back foot. Bend the front knee. Bring the back leg down. Good. Move your blocks forward.
What keeps my heel here?
Your
wanting
heel wants
go
to pop up.
Yeah.
If your heel's trying to pop up, your stance is probably too short, for
Okay.
one thing. So your stance needs to be a little bit wider. But also, if your heel's trying to pop up, you're really in the front of your hip. You have
Okay.
no space in the front of the hip. Bring your heel down. Think of your foot as spreading across the mat. Lift your low belly a little bit. And then even maybe open your knee a touch to make space between the front of the hip and low belly.
I need
Feel
to
that?
understand, yeah.
You're just giving yourself room in all directions, vertically and horizontally, right? So you can feel low belly. All right, good. Where were we? Let's bring hips back. Let the toes come off the mat and just stretch down over the leg. Drop the head. You can be rounded here. If you can pull sitting bones back, that's fine. But I actually don't mind if you're rounded as long as you're keeping low belly lifted so that you're soft through the low back and getting a stretch there. If you want to let sitting bones drop back, you want to sit all the way back, you can. Whatever. That feels good. All right. And bring it back up. Okay. Let's move blocks out of the way. Hands come to the inside of the foot. Okay. Don't turn the foot out a lot today unless you really need to. If you're super tight in the front of the hip, you can turn the foot out a little and drop the knee open. It gives you a little more space. But that's a different variation. I want you to feel what it feels like to try to make space when leg and ribs are in parallel if you can. All right, push into your hands, inner spiral. Pick your ribs up into the shoulder girdle. Suck your low belly out of the front of the hip. Roll to the outer foot, just cheat. Let your inner foot die. Okay, now bring inner foot back down. Oh, that makes some space in the hip. Okay, now bring the chest forward and down. Good. Feel how your ribs drop inside the groin more. Then bring the foot back down without closing those muscles you just opened. Okay, let's do it again. Push your hands, spread the ribs, spread the shoulder blades. Pressure is in hands. I'm not sucking. Pressure is in my hands to do that. Roll to outer foot. Inhale. As you exhale, only lift pelvic floor. Just a little bit of low belly transverse abs, maybe. Okay, now come forward longer. Let your ribs open a little. And then roll back to inner foot. Are you starting to feel how to make room in there? Last one. Inner spiral, push your hands. I'm purposely engaging chest, pecs closing toward each other. Okay? Making a shelf there. Now let your core go. Let your belly hang, but keep the pressure in the hands. Inhale. Hold. Roll to outer foot. As you exhale, just lift low belly. That's the only thing that lifts. Then get longer forward, like you're going to lean past your own hands. Good. Then roll back to inner foot. Feel how you got into the hip deeper. You guys feeling that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're doing here all the time. Or supposed to be. Of it in your head. Pointing at that. All right. Let's go ahead and bring the blocks back. I know, we're just about done standing.
My hands are about done.
Okay, bring hips back. Good job. And then roll the back heel down, opening the foot. Good. Actually using the foot now to hold the mat. So a lot of you think, oh, I'm slippery, I'm sweaty. I'm calling BS on that one. Your foot is inactive and it's a little dead fish flipping around on your mat. You hold the door. You hold your mat with your foot, okay? You hold on. I mean, yeah, there's crappy mats and slippery surfaces, I'll give you that. But I don't care how slippery surfaces you're holding on. Bring your blocks forward. So much for the slippery
Tell it
surfaces.
to us like it. Tell it to us like it.
Now the front foot is now grabbing the mat. It really wants to turn in with you. Don't let it. Grab the mat with your metatarsals, with the front of the foot. Grab the mat with your toes. Now reach the front arm way forward, left elbow or right elbow, whatever it is for you. Back arm has to bend back to support you and keep you back a little. So there's opposition. Hips are dropping back while ribs open forward. We feeling that?
Oh.
Okay, so this is the stuff that's hard to access when you can't engage the brain. You've got to find something to pin that hip back. Your leverage is the floor. The only thing touching the floor is your foot. So make it active. You feeling that? Now go ahead and bend the knee. Keep it open. Drop your back hip forward a little. Now that makes more space in the side. Yeah, use one hip to help open the other side. Physics.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Bring it back. Good job. Bring it back. Turn your toes in. Last one, I swear, but you can't yell at me because we won't be on your hands. Bring your heels in a little. Okay, toes open and lift. Suck low belly up. You're going to use hands to support it for a second. You're just pushing a little to lift ribs. Release hips, okay, and then release glutes. So I don't need a tuck, I need a lift in low belly. Okay, then shift weight to the back outer foot, not the heel, the outer foot. Feel like your heels pull in a little bit. Toes, ball of the foot, grab the mat, pull in a little bit, suck low belly up to come up. Don't squeeze your glutes, ever. Keep low belly lifted. We feeling space here now?
Mm-hmm.
Now keeping the low belly lifted, can you let your knees open a little more without sitting back? There, you got it. Feel that lift? Everybody let your knees close in and touch. Now lift more. Release your low back more. Interlace fingers. Reach forward, stretch the hands. Bend the fingers back right now, not the wrists. So send your palms forward. Now, if you suck your upper body back, my hips are going to go forward. For every back, there's a forward. That's your center line, right? So don't push as hard as you can. Keep your hips in line with your ribs. Suck your middle abs back. Reach your hands. Feel the difference? Don't round your upper back as hard as you can. Keep your shoulder blades a millimeter together. That's you. Yeah, now suck your belly back. Feel the difference? Yeah. Now everybody pull your shoulders apart. Pull your upper back as hard as you can. Feel your hips going forward? We don't like that. You're crunching your low back and closing in front of your hips. Bring hips under your body. Lean forward a little bit. Right? Not too much because your feet are turned out. You got nothing to stop you. Okay? Knees hug in. Shoulders a millimeter together on your back. A millimeter together. And then suck the belly back.
Oh,
Good. Oh.
that foot thing really helped.
The foot thing. That foot thing. Good, you're tired.
I'm shaking too.
All right. Bring your hands down.
I could make a
Good job.
milkshake on my legs right
Bring your
there.
feet apart. All right.
Whew.
I'm going to do just a little bit more here, but I won't have you on your hands. Move your blocks. The wider the feet are, the easier this is. Bend your knees. You probably need to come to first level on your blocks. You can bring your elbows down. If you have tight hips, first level on your blocks. But I don't want hands down, I want elbows down. Maybe second level, yeah. Keep knees bent. Yep. But not collapsing in. Knees bent and wide. Feel your outer feet, outer lower leg. Grab the mat with your feet. Roll to the outer feet so you can open the inside of your hip. Let's use the feet. Yay, yeah, we feel this. Use your feet. Roll to the outer feet so knees can open. Good. Now shift your weight into your forearms. That's why you gotta be high enough. Get some blocks back there. 2 blocks. You need to be higher with your upper body knees.
Talking to me?
Yeah, use your blocks. You need some weight. Shift your weight into your elbows so you don't have that weight in your legs anymore, and then open knees wider. Yeah. Now shift back into that space you just made. There we go. Feel the difference?
Absolutely.
Good job, kids. All right. Eventually, we're going to be doing headstands here.
yeah.
We're going to pop up. And
Yeah.
all right, here we go. Heel toe it in. Bring it back up.
Toe
Stack
heel
your
it in.
blocks. Toe heel it in. Yeah, I actually do say toe heel a lot of
Yes,
the
you
time.
do.
I do. That's funny. Good. It actually is better. She just made a really good point. I do say toe heel a lot. Sounds funny because we weren't used to it, but if you start with toes, grab the mat, and then pull heels, you'll still do the heel toe part, but it activates the foot more. And you're
Ball of the
thinking
foot.
more. Yeah. Okay. All right. Have a seat. How we doing?
Hallelujah.
A little sweaty, right? So you start to feel how you can disengage and make space in some muscles and standing postures if your feet are active. This is leverage. We're not in the air, right? So we're doing silks, but You have, even there, you have leverage. Whatever's touching the floor has to give you a base so that you can pull away from that so you have opposition. Otherwise, there's no stretch. If there's not opposition, something's going in opposite direction, there is no stretch. All right, come to the very front of your blocks. Whoa, I just pushed mine back. Don't fall off of them. Feet really wide, but in parallel. So if your heels want to turn in, it's because your sitting bones want to close and the back of the hips want to stay closed. Or it's because your knees are really tight, which also may come from tight hips. Keep the feet in parallel, elbows inside the knees, hands in prayer, one straight line from elbow to elbow. Then, when your knees hug in, you don't have to push back out because you're in one straight line. The bones won't bend, right? Okay, now lift your low belly, lift your toes, roll to inner foot, knees squeeze in on elbows a little. Now shift forward, tipping blocks forward. Bring your toes back down, grab the mat. Let your hips release more. Good, you only got one block there. Come back, Sharon. Come back. Even up your blocks a little bit. Your front block is a touch behind the back block so they won't both tip. Good, let's do it again. Lift the toes, spread them out. Roll to outer foot. Get a little bit more space in the front of the hip.
Ooh, that hurts.
Lift your low belly. Where does it hurt?
And right here.
Okay,
Feel
good.
it.
Where we're supposed to.
Lift your low belly. Good, that's it. Keep your low belly lifted. Feel that space in the front of the hips? Now roll back to the inner foot. Toes come down, but don't close the front of the hips. And then sit a little deeper into that space. Feel how much your feet move you, right? Now roll your shoulders forward a little bit and lift your low belly up and back. There we go. Feel how your feet give you a boundary to lift away from. If your feet are dead, you can't lift your low belly. There's nowhere to go. You guys feeling that? Okay, let your weight come back into your feet, and then belly can come forward, shoulders can go back and touch. Feet are still your boundary, so you're not killing the front of your hips. Last one, low belly lifts out of the feet, knees hug in a little to make some slack in the front of the hips so you got some space. Feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Good. And then let the ribs come back forward, low belly lengthens forward, pulling forward. Good. Hands inside the legs, hands back toward heels, outer spiral arms so inner elbow faces forward, and then bend your elbows straight back, pinning the legs back. Now use that back and the elbows and slide your shoulder heads forward like you're trying to fold your collarbone in on itself. And then drop your head forward. Good. Feel that opening in low back and hips. Breathe. Elbows can slide out a little bit. Breathe. Keep your head dropping. And then bring your blocks back. Come on up. Good. How we doing?
Good.
Feeling feet help open hips now.
Huge.
Heel toe it in. Bring your left leg back. Here's where I'm toe heel it in. Toe heel it in. That's right. Bring your left foot back. And here's where I'm dyslexic. So if you think I say right when I mean left, because now I'm mirroring you. That's why I don't mirror you guys very often. All right. Move over to the left side of your blocks. Left sitting bone hanging off the block. Okay.
So move away from.
Away from the bent knee. Away from this foot. That way. Yeah, so I'm mirroring you, so I should be moving the same direction you're moving in. So at least that's helpful. All right, bring the top leg across. Okay, so you're so slouched in this side, you're literally kind of have to lean away from it to not fall off your blocks. What does that do? Helps soften the front of the hip. If you're really sitting up high, you're probably using hip flexors to pull your pelvic bowl forward, and now good luck twisting. You got a pelvic bowl in the way. So really slouch, make soft, make space. You may have to lean away from this leg to not fall off your block until we get the rest of the alignment. Put your foot across. Get these two to meet with a decent amount of authority and pressure. Keep that foot forward. Don't let your foot be too far back. You want to be here in the foot where you could actually stand into that foot, okay? All right. From there, from there, go ahead and push the leg across. Bring elbow to knee, and then even try to keep the belly sucking back. Slide the shoulder blade off the back to get that even deeper. Okay, really get it in there. You're twisting the wrong way. Twist it the same way I twist, yeah. Hands in prayer. Bring your prayer hands down until your forearms are one straight line. Now shift your weight forward over that front foot like you're going to lean that shoulder into that foot. You are leaning into that foot, right? You're standing on that foot now. Now your elbows, the forearms should be a straight line, but they should be kind of diagonally up and back. Because I want to push with the back hand into the front hand to pick up the back ribs. I'm going to lean a little bit into this foot. Yeah, feel the ribs open on that top side. Good. You can even pull the shoulder forward a little. Everybody says, oh, no shoulder here, you're engaging that. Right now, I don't care. I'm trying to stretch here. If your shoulder blade slides up, your ribs open a little bit. Okay, and eventually instead of engaging neck, you roll forward and engage chest. There we go. Good. You guys feeling that? Okay, keep that pressure. Think of the bottom knee pushing forward. Now that was probably stagnating. Push into the bottom knee a little bit and think of the bottom knee opening into that foot so that now the bottom half of the body is helping with that twist. Feel your base? Now you've got something to lift out of. Top foot's pushing the mat forward a little. Bottom knee's pushing the mat forward a little. Top hand's pushing the bottom hand into the leg. Suck the middle abs back. Stay rounded as you twist. Everybody bring your head down and do your prayer. Eliminate your neck from the twist. Belly now has to suck back so you don't fall forward. Suddenly you've got more space to twist. You guys feel that? Breathe. Very nice, guys. All right, let's see if we can go a little further with this. Work that knee way up into the armpit. Get it in there. Okay, we're going to add a little bind. Bring your hand through your leg. This is shoulder flexibility, through that little hole you made. Okay, so if your shoulder head doesn't roll forward, you're never going to do this because your elbow doesn't bend backward. Okay? Now bring the other hand around. This one, you got it. Bring the other hand around and try to reach for the two. Good, pretty good. A lot of you can't touch, that's all right. Okay, let it come back out. So eventually when you hold, you use the bind to tighten the twist. Maybe even lift leg up, whatever. Binds are fine, but they're also to deepen your stretch. You're using the leverage of your bind to pull the leg further across, work the ribs further forward, deepen twist, right? All right, how do we deepen the twist without that? Let's use the floor as leverage. Okay, so get the elbow way across and really think more now about getting the thigh past your ribs, past your chest line. So use your elbow to pin it across, work it under there, hand to the floor. Good. Okay. Now you're going to have to tip to get your other hand to the floor. Okay.
Tip
now
forward.
tip to your right and forward. Yes. Okay, there you go. We are going there in a minute. Now use your elbow. Use your elbow to keep that leg across, and then think of your ribs coming past the thigh. Now use gravity. Tip forward into the hands. Maybe you can lift the leg up. Doesn't matter if you can't. What I really want you to feel is elbow pinning leg across as you pull ribs forward with hands. Good. It's arm balance prep. So eventually you lift the back leg. But it's also a really good deep twist. Okay, bring it back up. Good. So that's the reason arm balance is fun, but it's not just, we're using gravity, we're using leverage. All right, bring it back across. Now you want to open that hip up, right? Bring the foot up to half lotus. Block. Glute block. Okay, bring that foot up, not by sickling toes and just bending the outer ankle. Keep the outer ankle straight, or if anything, turned out. And use that little crevice to hold on to your leg. Deepens the stretch. If you keep the toes active, reaching through the ball of the foot like your foot's wrapping around, it actually opens the hip more. Now, if you're sitting up really straight, it's because you really want to keep the hip flexor closed. So, slouch. Okay? Good. Slouch back. Suck the low belly back as you drop the knee forward. Opposition, two things have to go apart. Okay? Now, what makes that easier? Having something to lean on. So, I don't care what it is. Block, whatever's high, lean into that. Or, I like to lean on the floor and drop the knee forward. So now you can let your ribs open a little bit and drop the knee forward. You guys feel that? Okay. If yours really tight, you'll have this lift up and try to stay forward and close. Now you're just punching your low back. So that's why I said get a higher surface if you need it. Okay. Now suck your low belly back as you drop your knee forward. So that's the coordination here of creating the stretch. You guys feel that? Okay. Bring it forward. Good. All right. Now we're going to shift weight forward and use your hands to bring the knees each other. So tip forward. Now this foot doesn't get to be dead fish. Turn it out, activate the foot, hold on to that leg, right, with your foot. Hands out in front. Let's turn out more than usual with the hands. So thumbs are parallel lines, fingers spreading. Keep the foot active. Drop your hip back. Drop your right hip back. Now put your knee down, lean right, lean right, lean right. You gotta let that crease out of your hip come out. There we go. Okay, now you're there. Your knees touching the ground. Now use your hands to support your body. So you let that front of the hip go. You can't stay folded. There we go. Okay, now keep the foot active. All right, inner spiral arms. Push down to your hands. Pick up your ribs. Lift your low belly softly out of the front of that hip. You guys feel that? Shift your weight forward. Keep your ribs up high. And then maybe you can let your hips drop. And then maybe you can let your ribs drop. If you drop drop your hips or your ribs before you drop your hips, you'll get stuck
And your butt will be in there.
and your butt will be in the air. Oh, so you have to keep your ribs up. That means pressure in hands. Now that's your leverage. That's what's touching the ground. We do the
Yeah.
shoulder girdle stuff all the time. You found it.
Yeah.
Then if you can keep that while you release your hips, you can drop forward. Why can't most people keep that? Because most people pick their ribs up instead of by pushing in the hand, by pulling with hips. If you're pulling your pelvic bowl back to lift your ribs up, good luck. You're done. You're not doing this. And you're not doing a whole lot of other things in yoga. You have to be spreading shoulder blades and using the muscles attached to the ribs to hold the ribs up. Then you can let hips release forward. Then maybe you can drop the ribs back down.
And then how do you get out of it?
You picked your ribs up first, so you have space in your hips, and you bring your hips back. You found it today. Good. All right, how are we doing? Okay, so good morning. All right, go ahead and sit back on your blocks. The whole thing? All the way. Got to sit, just sit. Hey, good job. Bring your foot out of that stretch. You should feel your knee. If you're like, why do I feel my knee? Did I do something wrong? No, stretch your knee. That's a big rotation. Lotus involves the whole line, right?
So if
from
it
the hip.
doesn't hurt, it was okay?
If it doesn't hurt, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's totally fine. But if certain people are going to feel their knee more, you know, some people have tighter knees. If you have tighter hips, usually it starts pulling on the tendons in the knees, and the knee starts holding because it doesn't want to get hurt. And then you have tight knees. And yes, you actually do need some flexibility in the knee joint. Otherwise, it'll pop, right? Okay.
But you should back away from that a little bit until you get that way.
If
You
you're,
can't go to that point of,
hold on. If you're in a hip stretch, this is primarily, it's the whole thing, right? If your hip is holding like crazy, and now this refuses to open, and you've concentrated, and you now have an acute pull in your knee, and you feel no stretch in your hip, bad, right?
get out of that.
You have to let your hip go. So maybe you have to bring the foot forward. You have to lessen the hip stretch, or support the upper body, or do something to take your pressure out of your hip so your hip can let go. Once the hip lets go, all of a sudden the knee gets a little bit more slack. Maybe now you can come back into it. So yeah, you need to back off, but only until the hip releases.
Right.
Then you can come back.
So that you can feel it.
So that you can feel it and not rip things open. All right, bring the foot back, probably about even with your blocks. Okay, shift your body forward inside the leg. You can open the other knee a little if you feel like you need to make space. Bring that elbow in front of your shin. The lower you can get with your chest, the better. Okay, because even if you really wanted to keep the pelvic bowl back, when your chest comes forward and down, the pelvic bowl really can't stay back. Keep elbow in front of the shin, other hand comes out wide. Good, now you're going to use that shoulder, the lats, the serratus, and intercostals, to pin the shin back. As you pin the shin back, also use the foot to bring that hip back. Then tip forward with soft pressure into the other foot. Tip forward off your blocks. Keep the foot down. The foot's going to help you. That heel does not get to rise for now. Hips should be in the air. Hips should be off your blocks. Your weight is in your hands. Now use that shoulder, that elbow to pin the hip back. Use the foot to pin the hip back. Then bring ribs forward and down. Lengthening so hips stay back. Ribs come forward. You feeling this?
Yeah.
You can put your forehead down if you need to support it. But if that kills your length, then don't do it. Okay, now let's see if we can deepen it. Pick your foot up off the mat so you're kneeling on the elbow. Everybody thinks this is all so hard. It really is not. It's conceptual. Now pin the hip further back. It's easier. Your foot's not stuck anymore. Now bring your ribs further forward. Drop your chest. Yeah. Feel that made more space in the hip and core? Good. This too is arm down breath. All right. Bring your foot back down. Good job. You all got there
That was
today.
good, yeah.
Good. So arm balances from there. This is an uneven one. This is the first one. I know.
I really felt that foot helping, that connection.
Yeah. Good. All right. Let's switch. Yeah. Lots of arm balances from there. Good. Let's go to the other side. You want to get up into those arm balances. All right. Put the leg down. They're fun. I love it. I love inversions. I love balances. Okay. So other leg is down. Other leg, I mean your right, since it's my left. You'd think that would be easy to turn around, right? All right. Move over so that your right sitting bone is hanging off your blocks. Quite literally. Your left sitting bone is on the blocks, left butt cheek is on the blocks, and you are leaning right, no, leaning left, whatever.
Leaning
away.
away.
From the slide.
That's
Don't
right.
fall off your blocks.
It's hard to do that.
Bring your front leg across. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter how long I teach.
Oh,
I'm still
no,
not
I'm the
wrong.
same exact way. Jeannie, can you teach facing?
No,
No. It's
I
hard.
have to think harder.
never.
Bring this leg across, okay? And then once the leg's across, you maybe don't have to lean as much. Now lean a little forward, but keep low belly sucked back. And see if you've got this foot far enough forward so that you can put some weight into it, okay? If it's too far back, you really don't, right? Okay, now, lean back again. Push the leg across, suck the belly back so that this holds your ribs back while the shoulder blade slides forward. Get it way up in there. Good. Hands in prayer. The hands come down so you've got one straight line from elbow to elbow, but it shouldn't be dropped on the back side. That's closing the back ribs. It should be a little diagonally up. Then come forward over this foot. Push the top hand into the bottom hand for the purpose of lifting and opening the ribs on the top side. Good. At the same time, that push brings your knee a little across. And if you activate the stuff that's touching the floor for leverage, push the bottom knee into the floor, top foot a little, and then twist further by using low body. You feel that? So that bottom knee goes forward and out against the top foot. Right? Lots of points of leverage to be aware of. Now be aware of the sitting bone that's on the block. You're lifting up away from that. It's staying down into your block. Good. Breathe. Good. Now, keeping that shoulder head rolled forward so you can tuck elbow back with shoulder forward will bring the knee further across. That, you might be there. Now try to lace the arm through. You got it. Shoulder forward. That's it. You got it. And then you can reach the arm around. Getting closer. A lot of it's just going to be your shoulder stretch. You got it. This one. That one goes through. The other one comes around. Good. So this shoulder has to drop way across the center. It's a big shoulder stretch. Binds are great because they do everything. All right. And eventually you come up, you reach out, blah, 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 but nobody's there. So bring it back out. Okay. So keep this pinned across. Okay? And then hand to the mat. The tighter you are, the more you're going to have to lean over to get your hand to the mat, right?
Yeah.
Bring your other hand to the mat. Good. Now feel when you got pressure in this hand, that pressure is something that helps you bend the elbow and pin the knee across further. So yeah, prop it up, put blocks. That's right. So you have pressure. If you don't have pressure in the hand, you're barely reaching the mat. You, number one, didn't lean far enough, and number two, don't have probably enough flexibility in the spine and the core. All right, once you feel that elbow pinning back, see if you can push into the foot, lean forward a little, lots of weight in the hands and fingers, and then maybe you can lift the leg up. Keep pinning the leg, keep dropping ribs forward.
Push with the foot.
Push with the foot, come forward, bend your elbows. You're not going to let this in your hands, and then eventually you can lift the back leg. You don't have to. You actually can feel a deeper twist, look for a minute, by rolling the front shoulder forward and the back shoulder back. Feel that? Even more. Once you're good with your arm balance, you can do it in the air. Good. And bring it back. Nice. Now we want to open, right? Okay. Ankle does not make this shape. Stays engaged here. This, by the way, is the same little set of muscles that does that for you instead of it coming from the hip, right? Which is why you feel it in the hip when we're in the stretch. So you come up here, turn out, use your bottom leg as a guide to help you find those muscles in your outer ankle. Open and spread your toes. Feel how that helps you start to drop the hip. Everybody who's sitting upright and proper, let it go and slouch. Let your hip go. So eventually, how do you sit back up again? Do you guys say, well, what am I slouching all the time? No. Eventually, you can use your transverse abdominals to pick up. Right now, you guys all use your backs and your hip flexors, and you totally skipped this area. So I don't like you at that. I want you to slouch. Don't slouch here. That's not a slouch. That's a pull. Stay up. This is what comes back. Different. Feel that? The sternum comes straight down, not back.
It's so hard to release. It's going.
You maybe just sit a little higher. You might want to sit on the blue blocks.
Yeah.
And then give yourself less.
Oh, yeah,
That's
give
a good
yourself more
idea.
room.
Sit higher, right? And then this stretch becomes less. That degree of flexion becomes less, which means this leg gets to be lower, right?
See, I'm starting to really get that idea that if you don't have the flexibility, you have to create.
Oh yeah, I know.
Conceptual. Space, space, space. You have to literally and physically create space.
Most of the time, I realize when I need to do it. There's times when
You're really good at
I
it.
don't
You
understand.
usually do that. All right, keep this foot active. I see a lot of sickle feet. Keep this foot out. You should be able to let go with your hand, and that foot just grabs. Okay? Now, can your foot still hold while your low belly draws away from it and your knee drops forward?
I can't get this knee to, this hip to unlock.
Okay, so shorten it in first. Let it go. Just let it go. Okay, let it go. Support this with your hand instead of your foot because you're, no, not here. Here, break at the ankle. Yeah, give yourself the break. Keep the weight here. Set it on your leg. Low belly drops back. Hold this. lower it softly into the stretch. You're using your bicep. Good. And then low belly sucks back. Feel it let go a little more? Still no?
It's activated right here.
Where?
Right here. I can't go any lower. It's right in front.
Oh, okay, so when you get to the point where it wants to hold,
Mm-hmm.
now suck your belly back instead and keep holding from the bicep. Keep your weight. Yeah, so keep holding with your bicep, keep that upright, use your serratus, roll that shoulder forward, suck your belly back. Good. So like you're trying to fold this part in, like it's a circle, you're sucking the belly back. Now turn your foot out a little. And then just let it go. See how far it all is? Good. All right, come to the next part. Keep the foot wrapped, hands to the mat, bring the knee down. If it didn't release before, you may have better luck now. Once you get the knee to come down, you can let the foot come down a little. All right? If you want to keep it up there, the more active you keep the foot, the easier it is to keep it up there. It can slide down, but I want your ankle crossing the leg. That's good. Not the toes. Okay, that's good. All right, then hands come forward. Let's turn out and wide. Make some space for yourself. Inner spiral your arms and slide your shoulders forward, not into the neck, into the chest. So think of something that's coming forward, and then you're trying to get into your pecs, which attach to collarbones. You should try to feel like your collarbone's folding in half, like a book. Feel the chest? Once you feel your chest, shift your weight into your chest. Then, feel thumbs a lot, suck your low belly up. Low belly, low belly, low belly. And lift the low belly. Then, keeping the chest high, ribs high, come forward. Maybe you can drop the hips, then the ribs. Good job. Nice, guys. Okay, how do we come out of it? Don't pull with your hips. Push with your hands. Pick your ribs up first. Make some space. Nice. And bring it back. How are we doing? See if you can sit back, keeping your hands there. Keep the foot active. Drop your head. Think down dog. Good. All right. Very good, guys. Bring it down. Yeah, we're getting it. Okay, bring your foot down. If you feel the knee a little, that's fine. Nice. You got it. Okay? You feel your hips? You should be connecting feet with hips today. That is what that is. If you haven't noticed the thing. All right. Get the foot close to your block, meaning backwards on your mat. Okay? If it's really far forward, it's harder for you to get in front of it, and it's harder for you to shift forward. You got a lot more up and over to come. It's too far back. You can't put any weight into it because now it's behind you and you're falling forward. So think of having the knee over the foot, being wide enough so you can roll to inner foot. You don't want your heel to come up any further forward. A little further forward. Yeah. Elbow in front of shin, hand into the mat. So already these are meeting with a decent amount of authority. Point of leverage, point of leverage, point of leverage. Foot is point of leverage. All the weight is not in the knee. Don't let your foot try to lift up off the mat. Okay, here we go. Pin it back with the serratus. This shoulder rolled back to pin that pelvic bowl back. Then hands pull back, shoulders pull back to bring ribs forward. So even before you lift, you should start feeling that opening. You guys feel that? Now push into the top of the back foot and pop the hips up. Perfect. Now we're all in good shape already. You all have pretty much flat backs here. Now keep pinning that knee back. Now use your foot. Roll to inner foot, but keep lifting the hip up and back. Up and back. And then ribs forward and down. Yeah, we're feeling this?
Oh, yeah.
Good. You made space, and then you came into your space. Good. Okay, you can either breathe here, or go ahead and lift the foot up, basically kneeling on your own arm. If you were in the right shape, it's a real easy lift. Okay, now use your elbow, your serratus, to pin the hip back, then drop your ribs a little deeper, forward and down. You can even, when you get better at it, shift weight into the, I guess it's your left hand. Yeah. And that opens the hip more, because now the hip's pretty active. Get that back foot down. Bring it back down.
I'm staying here.
Understand, you got it.
That's right, forever.
Nice. That's a long down spread. So we're learning. Lots of different body points use the foreign objects as points of pressure and leverage. We don't just have hands, we don't just have feet, and we do have feet to make leverage in the waist. Good job. All right, feet forward. Arms inside the legs. Spread your fingers out. Think of your low belly as pulling up and almost forward. Sounds really odd. Most people pull back really hard because you're closing the front hips to find your low belly. Think of your low belly as lifting just a touch. You've got to have some weight in your feet for your low belly to lift away from, but you can't be pushing because then you got quads and hip flexors engaged because those muscles pull to straighten leg. So it's just let weight come into your feet. Elbows pin, knees open a little. Knees hug in and touch. Low belly gets longer. Yeah, feel that? Now, tip forward. Feel my blocks. Now, tip forward on your blocks. I did the one block tip, now my blocks aren't straight. It's not as stable, it's okay though. All right, and then go ahead and slide your elbows down the inside of the knees. See if you can let the head release, let your shoulders hang forward, and bring your hands to the mat. Elbows come in, hug them in, get real squished. Elbows in, elbows in, elbows in, and then they pin the groin back, then pull them back out again. So elbows come in, grab a spot on your groin, and then open them out, pulling your hips open. Feel that? Now, let your hips totally go. Weight in the hands, weight in the arms. Drop your head forward, shoulders forward. That's fine. You come off your blocks here eventually. This too is an arm balance. Okay? Anyway, you can sit on the elbows, drop the head more, shoulders more. So without rocks, it looks like this on the side. Elbows pulling hips, dropping head. And you still get a good low back release. All right, let's go ahead and get rid of the blocks. Oh, actually, one more thing while we're done.
Like this?
Yeah, I'd like to see your elbows, your hands a little further behind your feet and your toes facing forward. But then otherwise like that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. All right, hands back behind you. Tail one under, pelvic ball on your blocks. Feet out in front. You can alternate sides if you want, it doesn't matter. Just from the front, you wouldn't get much understanding, I guess, of what we look like here. Okay, fingers face forward. We're going to do your hands here today too. Not a lot of hand stretching, although we just put pressure on. Roll your shoulders forward. Your hands should be behind your shoulders. Okay? Roll your shoulders forward. Middle abs draw down. Bend your elbows and try to use a little pressure in your feet and tip your blocks back. Good. Suck the low belly down. Keep shoulders forward, chin in. Good. Let your blocks come back down. Roll the shoulders back, push into the hands. Let your shoulder blades come behind your ribs to pick the ribs up. Push into your hands, pull a little with feet, tip your blocks forward if you want to go further. You should feel your hands get a bigger stretch. How are we doing? Nothing in low back here at all, or you're not doing it right. Bring your blocks down, roll your shoulders forward. That wasn't a nice way to say that. Push with your feet, let your low back release. Good. You should feel a lot of length in your low back here. Good job. Bring the blocks down, push into hands till arms are straight. Just that, since your shoulders are in front of your hands, may be enough to stretch your hands and wrists. Okay, and if that's the case, you just keep on working on rolling your shoulders forward and letting your ribs release. That's it for you, right? If you need more stretch, then you can push, keeping shoulders forward, tip forward. But if you don't need more stretch, don't do this, because all you're going to do is try to take it in your low back and find some weird point of leverage that's going to hurt you. Okay? Bend the elbows back, again, keep shoulders in front of hands. Elbows go wide, that spreads shoulder blades, opens upper back a little more, chin in. Feel the thumb side of the hand, maybe you can work it a little further back. Your hands feel like they're spinning in. Oh, we got all kinds of
All kinds of.
Sorry guys. Alright, then roll the shoulders back without moving anything else. And then roll your shoulders forward. So you don't get to pop ribs up and down now. Roll shoulders back, that means core gets long. Suck belly back. You feel that? And then roll shoulders forward. Got a whole office going by. Roll shoulders back, middle abs. That's transverse abs between the ribs and hips. We feel that?
Yeah.
Roll shoulders forward. Last one. Roll shoulders back, chin in, head forward. Roll shoulders forward, push in hands, turn it around. Okay? Keep the shoulder heads forward, bend your elbows back. This should feel different, but similar. Elbows are still going wide, chin in. Push into arms to straighten. Roll shoulders back. Should be a lot easier to bring ribs on top of the shoulders. Feel that? Now, outer spiral, arms, biceps face out. Maybe elbows can bend in if you were able to fully outer spiral with a big chest stretch. Re-straighten arms, roll shoulder heads forward, chin in. Bend elbows back, see if you can tip blocks back. And bring it back. Okay, move your hips over to the right. Right sitting bone, right glute off your blocks. Feet can go a little to the right side of the mat. Then think of bending elbows, bringing your ribs to the right and your knees to the left. It's a twist. Bring your left leg across to about the right knee or right shin, and you can softly pull. The real trick to this, and maybe you need to adjust your hands, is can you push with the left arm and bend the right elbow back, opening the right ribs. back. Feel that space? Now, what are your feet doing? Probably not enough. Bring your right hip to your right heel by pulling on that. Open and spread your toes. Feel that? Good. Bring it back. I'm going to wrap it up here. Okay, bring your hips to the left. Bring your feet a little to the left. Adjust your hands. You need to shorten them, fine, whatever. I need you to have leverage there. Okay, bring your ribs left. So that's kind of a straightening in the right arm, right shoulder head forward, left shoulder head back. Bring your knees right. Keep the left shoulder head back, left hand kind of pulling, left elbow back as the left knee goes forward and right. Then for extra leverage, a bigger stretch, right foot crosses over and pulls a little. Left toes open, think of hip to heel. Push with the right hand a little to bring your left ribs open. Let's feel that. Good job. Bring it back, square it off, hands locked in, and come on forward. Just going to end with a real quick neck stretch if you can get here. You're going to drop forward, okay, and see if you can bring your elbows inside the knees. Keep some weight in your feet. Hands to the back of the head, elbows and forearms squeeze in on the top of the head. Slide your hands toward the crown of the head. Pull your own head into your own pubic bone. Yeah, you feel the neck stretch? Everybody, wherever you're at, I don't care about your hair, slide your hands up your head. Don't lift and adjust. You can always flatten your hair back down later. Now let your feet take weight, let your hips release. Let your knees open, roll to the outer feet. Shoulders slide forward, and lift them back. Head in further, hands pull the head, and then roll it up. Good job, how we doing? Good. All right, get all your stuff out of the way. And go ahead and lay on your back. Good job, guys. A little different today.
Great.
We're coming into a new era.
Good foot
Guys are all
connection.
going to do arm balancing, inversion. All right, go ahead, lay flat on your mat. Do we want to put hips on the bolster for a minute?
Yes.
All right, yes, everybody wants that. Grab your bolster. Bolster under your ribs and hips, really. It's still going, it cuts me off at about an hour and 25 of those, so we're just going to try to wrap it up here. Well, let's do one movement here. Arms up, get one leg in at a time. Hands under heels, cup hands around heels. So your arms go inside the legs. Normal happy baby hands would be to come to the top. We're going to go underneath to heels. Okay, drop your right leg forward, right arm back, and think of your neck getting longer. You're not just jamming chin down. Think of it almost pushing to the back of the head a little bit to get your hip further forward. Maybe even pull your bolster up higher. So you're hanging more off the front of your bolster on that right side. Yeah, get your bolster up there. Get it to work for you. You don't want this hip hanging down the front slope of the bolster a little bit. Feel that? Good. You're not going to crunch your back because you got the other leg up. Now, if you let the other leg die, now the whole pelvis can fall, and that's a different story. But since this leg is up, you can't crunch your low back. Your pelvic bowl is being lifted up by this leg. How are we doing? Inhale. Exhale, bring your right arm up. Let your ribs drop down a little. Soft. Good. Feel that deep in the stretch, or at least talk to some of the muscles in here. Inhale, drop it back. Get long. Keep your left foot, left heel up. Roll the left shoulder forward like you're going to bring that shoulder head forward and up. Ribs go further right. And then release. Bring the arm up. Good. Bring the leg back in. Arm under leg. Hand cups heel. Left leg forward. Reach. Little pressure into the back of the head. Keep the heel high. This is part of your leverage. If I pull hard enough on this, the other one comes too. I mean, your pelvis is still intact, right? So keep a little pull with this hand. Elbow pushes out onto the knee to get this shoulder head to roll forward, and the shoulder blade coming down will push your ribs left, which happily makes more space between the left rib and left pelvic bowl. Reach through your big toe. Not a point, not a flex. It's a reach, literally. Big toe is reaching along. That should start to tap into your low belly. So let's keep this heel high. Breathe. Inhale. As you exhale, bring the arms up. Let your ribs drop. Chest releasing will help you feel the front of the hip differentiate more. Inhale, arm back. We got all kinds of dumb going. All right. Exhale, bring the arm up and bring your leg back in. Good. All right. Stay there. Take 2 breaths. Let me turn off all the alarms.
We're getting more immediate as the time goes.
We've done too much.
We've done too much for
Okay. Bring one leg down.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Danger, your hips are going to fall. All right, bring one leg down at a time. Good. And push your bolster down to the tip of the tailbone. Bring your knees in. Yeah, should feel good. Just kind of releasing low back. Let your low back hang in that space. A little different today, but hopefully you still got the space. And then go ahead and push your bolster all the way down to your calves. And we'll skip your own today. We'll just end with your corpse pose here. You want to just breathe down your own, or should we do a body scan, guided meditation? Can we? Yeah. All right, here we go. So palms face up. Get yourself adjusted so you feel good. You want to bring your shoulder blades touch together. So chest is a touch open, but then bring your hips under you more, tailbone under you more, so your pelvic pulls a little further forward, so you've got space in lumbar spine. And then keep the legs turned out. All right. Inhale, long but soft. Hold that air in. Soften shut, soften whatever's holding. And as you exhale, feel your ribs softly drop back down into the mat. Toward the bottom of the breath, just roll shoulder heads forward a little. Feel your back ribs a little heavier in the neck. And then let that go. Do that one more time. Inhale. And then exhale. Don't roll shoulders forward this time, but just try to see if you can feel back ribs soften the heavy air in the neck. Going backwards. Small. Okay. Start focusing on feeling in the feet. We did a lot of work today. Let your toes feel open and spreading. Try to feel some space between the toes and feel like the pinky side of the foot is heavier than the inner foot, lengthening that inner arch and index knuckle side of the foot. Ankles are soft, open, released, and hanging. Let the muscles in the calves be totally released, softening across the bolster that's supporting it. Muscles in the front of the shin also soft, getting pulled on by the weight of the foot, coming out of the front of the knee a little bit. Quad is released away from the knee, hanging back away from kneecap toward hip, but also soft away from the front of the hip. Low belly melting down into the open space in the low back and the back of the hips, so your knees open and soft. Hamstrings should feel like they're hanging soft away from the bone in the upper leg. Inhale, soft but long again. Hold the air in, keep the whole low body disengaged. And then as you exhale, just feel your low belly sink. Notice the low belly softly dropping out of the front of the hips, away from the front of the pubic, the pelvis bone. Inhale again, like that, soft but long. Just feel the air flowing in. When you think you're full, release everything that's holding and sip a little more air in. And then let it all release slowly, no rush, no panic in the brain. Feel everything coming back to your center. Let it soften the muscles in the chest and collarbone. Feel the front of the shoulders really soft, the back of the shoulders release. Find a space in the shoulder joint itself. Arms heavy away from shoulder, biceps totally disengaged. Muscles in the back of the upper arm, triceps hanging off the bone. Want to feel elbows heavier into the mat, forearms heavy and released. Wrists open, soft, like you got space between hand and wrist. You feel like you got a heavy little marble in the palm of the hand. Fingers soft and open. Inhale again, long but soft. And as you exhale, focus on the muscles in the front and sides of the neck, let those go. You may have to be a little lifted, a little open, you have space there. Let your eyes roll back